And I'm joined with Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. She's the Managing Director of Franchise India Group, along with my colleague Vishwas Anand, who's the head of one of the vertical and enterprise. By end of this session, you will not only have clarity on how to start your franchise journey, but also we will help you gaining access to curated franchise options that suit your investment range and location. Feel absolutely free to ask any sort of questions that you may have related to franchise business, how to start it, how to look into a brand, how to choose a brand, how to take an informed decision. You are absolutely free to put all your queries into the Q&A box. If you have joined through the mobile, you have two options. One is the Q&A, other one is the chat. My request is to please use the Q&A option, put your name, location, and what sort of business you are looking for. And we will come back with the answers once the presentation is over. Um, now, maybe I may request Sonia ma'am to let's get started.
Thank you so much, Bharat. And friends, a very good morning to all of you. I again welcome you to the Investor Advantage webinar, which is hosted by Franchise India. And this is a webinar which is specially curated for both seasoned entrepreneurs and also first-time entrepreneurs who are considering to start a new business. And this webinar is about taking one of the most important decisions of your lifetime, which may be only once in your life, unlike many other decisions, including investment decisions that you may take more than once. And this decision is that of starting your own business. So I'll set the perspective. We'll take you through the journey of Franchise India. We'll also talk about largely franchise industry. And most importantly, as we understand the anxiety for a business buyer before starting a business. At Franchise India, we have curated a 5-point strategy and a methodology which will help any aspiring entrepreneur to start a business. So this would be about 40 minutes of a presentation where we'll take you through these assessment tools, and this would be followed by a brand presentation. So every single week when we conduct this webinar, we also bring some opportunities which our investors can in fact understand. So we have Vishwas, who's heading our business, which is Fran Enterprise. And Fran Enterprise is one of the businesses at Franchise India, which only deals with the large corporate enterprise businesses in India, which includes companies and corporates like Aditya Birla, Reliance, and the kinds of them. So we have a few opportunities from Aditya Birla Group, which Vishwas would present to all of you today. But before we get started, I'll also request friends, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box to ask these questions. And please make the webinar interactive. I'm sure a lot of you who have joined the webinar, you know Franchise India, you might have been going to our events, you might be reading our magazines or even the platform, which is franchiseindia.com, and might be at a certain stage of starting a business. So any questions that you have, we'll be happy to answer. So at Franchise India, I'll say we understand that a business buyer, in fact, today's business buyer needs not just product information, because this product information is widely available. So be it the website of a company or any other individual website of these brands, you can go on these websites, you can get the product information. But what really lacks is the insights and the analysis, which most of the investors lack before they start a business. So we also understand buying a business is one of the most difficult decisions of a lifetime, and therefore it requires a thorough research and understanding of various nuances to make you successful in choosing a business venture. So it is important that you invest in business that you have known and studied enough. That is very, very crucial, because you are going to be in that business at least for minimum 5 years. And this is the ground for us come out with Investor Advantage program. How can a prospective investor like you be an advantage or a benefit of taking a responsible decision of starting a business? So the program gives you guided assistance in the entire business buying process. As we understand, investor entrepreneur like you moves through a series of purchasing cycle before zeroing down on the opportunity. And being investor centric and a franchise focused company, our endeavor at Franchise India has always been to advise business buyers like you on opportunities, and most importantly, how to evaluate these opportunities. Hence, these are series of advisory webinars that we have been conducting for the last many, many years, so that we can help potential buyers like you to take an informed decision. So before I get started, friends, I'll also say, so while these are digital webinars on helping you buy a business, but at Franchise India, I think the last 5 years, we have also been conducting every single day a new opportunity which is launched in franchising. And the decision makers, the management, founders of these companies, every single day at 12 o'clock come on the webinar to present these opportunities to our investor community. At the same time, we also have a very large physical platform. These are monthly, smaller micro events that we conduct every single month, which are conducted in about 15 odd cities, where we invite companies and we also invite investors to come and meet these companies face to face. So I'll let maybe Bharat take you. This is the calendar for the month of August. So these are the events. So this is a combination of digital events that we do every single day and also our physical events that we conduct every month. So I'll let Bharat take you through the locations that we are conducting the event. And if you come from these cities or closer to these cities, I'll definitely recommend you to come and visit these events. For more information on the companies which are participating, the venue, I'll also request you can reach out to us. Bharat would share the details of the venue and the dates. So Bharat, over to you.
You're right. Thanks so much, ma'am. Thanks so much for joining to this webinar. We Franchise India, we really welcome you. We are the world's largest integrated franchise solution company. When I say this, we mean it. Why? Because the number of deals that we close in a year is the maximum by any franchising company across the globe. We have our footprints across 97 plus cities. Wherever you have joined from, someone is definitely be nearby you who is representing the Franchise India in your nearby cities. So we are accessible everywhere across India, not only in India, but also we are available across our Southeast Asia and across the globe. We are available in 10 top cities in India: Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore. And apart from that, we are also available, in nearby countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, now in Australia, Qatar, and lot many countries. We as a company, we are the first company to introduce and develop the franchise market in India. We are the first one who democratized this business model across India for the Indian and international brands. We have served 18,000 brands across the 5 continents and have served lakhs of investors choosing the right franchise business for them and taking the right decision. It's been almost 3 decades now doing the same, helping an investor, helping a brand to scale, to achieve the scale up and helping an investor to take the right decision, reduce the risk through our more than 1,200 strong team across the globe. As ma'am said, that we keep on doing different types of events across India, which primarily it caters to both the parties, the investors as well as the brand. You as an investor can be a part of these events, and also can have a better understanding about the franchise opportunities that you have in that particular cities. If you are looking at the screen right now, you can see the events, the whole calendar for this month. We already have conducted lots of events in multiple cities. Like on 10th we had in Ahmedabad, on 17th we have in Kolkata, then we have in Pune, then we have in Chennai, Jhansi, Hyderabad, Surat, and Bangalore. These are the cities where we not only have our office, but also we organize mega franchise meet where you can have multiple brands, right? 20, 30 brands, and you also can be a part of this event. Being an investor, go there and look into the opportunities that you may have. Apart from that, we also have the market master franchise conclave. Ma'am, would you like to explain this?
Think we have friends. I'll request, because there are a lot of events that we do when you come from different markets. I'll request, if you are looking to attend any of these events, please reach out to us. So we'll put our regional teams to connect with you and share more information. And on this weekend also, we have a big event which is happening in Pune. There would be about 40 companies which are coming and presenting at the event. And alongside the coming month, which is the month of September, we are doing a larger event, which is a franchise and investment conclave, where we're bringing opportunities in a lot of industries. And our focus is, I would say, jewelry brands, including the top conglomerates of India, lab-grown diamonds, family jewelers. They all be participating in this conclave. We also have opportunities for startup investors. If you're looking to invest in any startup companies, there are a lot of companies that are coming to present. And we also have a lot of resale opportunities. There are almost about 50 opportunities in resale that would be coming and presenting, which are running business, profitable businesses, which are ready to be taken over. And we're also bringing in opportunities which are franchisee owned, company operated opportunities. I think these are four categories. The last, I would say, 1.5 years, we have received the highest response on these four categories. So these are four categories, and there are four pavilions that we will have on 27th of September. This is a show which is happening in Delhi at Sheraton Saket. So if you need more information, friends, please do reach out to us. We'll be happy to share it with you. Now, quickly going on to our presentation, perhaps Bharat, we can remove this. So like Bharat said, so we are a company, we've been in the business for the last 27 years. We are present in 15 countries globally, and we have very deep penetration across India. There are 97 cities in India that we have a direct presence through our direct teams and our partners who actually work directly with the investors, helping them brainstorm the opportunities, help them evaluate the different business options. And we today hold about 90% market share in India, which means any form of franchising which is happening in India, investors like you looking to explore businesses, take guided solutions, and equally companies who are looking to explore the right fitment of investors, we help them through combined energies of our group companies. So as a prime mover of the franchise ecosystem, we have built a very strong equity with a large community of business buyers like you who engage through all our platforms. They take advice before investing in a business opportunity on one side. But on the other side, we also offer a very strong value proposition to the company, the franchisers, where we offer 360-degree solutions to making them ready to get into franchising, helping them expanding their footprint. And also, I'm happy to share with all of you, in the last nearly 2 decades, there have been more than 850 plus market entries that Franchise India and our international arm Fran Global has been able to do in Indian market, where we spearheaded these market entries in India subcontinent. And at Franchise India, we have been at the forefront of the industry because we sense and we analyze trends much before anybody else can see. And we also have an asset management company where, because given the distribution that we have, given the learning that we have across global markets on franchising, we are also the master franchise of 50 global brands, which are largely in F&B. They're retail brands. We have skill development, education companies, health, beauty, wellness. There are 50 master franchisees which are owned by Franchise India. So we'll be also happy to share these information. All these companies will also be present in all the events that Bharat just presented to you. So very quickly, friends, on the industry, when we talk about franchising, the very first question that comes to somebody's mind is, why should I start a franchise business versus starting my own business? And also there is a question in terms of, the longevity of the industry, how future fit is franchise businesses. So if I talk about looking at starting a business, there are only three ways people can start a business. One is your own startup. You can have your own business. You can start your own business. And the second is you buy an existing business, which is somebody's running a business. You take over that business, you acquire that business. And third is you buy a name which is tried, tested, has SOPs, has a safety net. And that is what is called franchising. So at Franchise India, we deal with two businesses, which is franchise businesses and resale businesses. So these are two businesses that we actually, work. And we also believe having a mentor is very valuable in your business buying decision because advisor is able to bring in a lot of industry insights, experience. More importantly, I would say he's able to eliminate the risk which is involved in the investment because a lot of insights come to you before you sign on the dotted line. Now, why franchising? Because franchising is a very big impact market. And I'm sure you all would agree. Franchising touch everything that we consume every single day. It cuts across every single industry. A lot of time when I meet investors, I speak to them. The first question they ask us, which is the sunrise industry. And I'm sure you all would agree today, we have successful franchise companies across all sectors, right? So whether that's F&B, whether that's retail, whether that's fashion, whether that's jewelry, whether that's health, beauty, wellness, we have all seen successful franchise companies across all industries, all segments. And this is a very big industry. Globally, this is a $5 trillion industry, which is much bigger than the GDP of India. And India, given the strong fundamentals that we have on domestic consumption, franchising, the growth that we saw in the last 10 years and the growth that we see in the 10 years from now would be almost 10x of what we saw in the last 10 years. And franchising is increasing at a pace of 30% year on year. And we are proud to say that India today is the second largest franchise market in the world after America. And a lot of growth in franchising is today attributed to, I would say, from the investor community, a lot of professionals, a lot of first-time business buyers who are coming forward and taking businesses. And we've also seen a very new cohort of investors. These are young investors, I would say, who are people in the age group of 25 to 35 that have almost become 60% of our entire community today who are coming forward and taking businesses. Now, when we look at our consumption story, we know consumption story in India is very, very strong. India story is very compelling, and even the consumption cycles are changing. While I would agree, we are still less in terms of a low per capita consumption in a lot of categories, but we are coming up, to match the global standards. And most of the consumer categories, starting, I would say, 1999. Today, they are becoming almost 3.5 larger than what they were 30 years back. So, which means 3.5 times to 4 times larger these consumption categories have become. Now, India also is witnessing a big formalization of consumption. While there is consumption, we are consuming more, but there is more formalization of consumption. So when I say formalization of consumption, today, all of us are aware of more and more brands. We are conscious about the brands around. So not only in product side, but also on the services side, the demand for branded products and services have become very, very large. So 22 years back, what we all witnessed was modernization of retail with product industry. And it is now the time where modernization of service industry also has become branded. So when I say service industry, these are all services that we consume, including our laundry services, our D2C healthcare services, cleaning services at home, beauty services at home, all these services, even the quick commerce services that we consume, these are all sorry, I don't know where I left. So today the opportunity for franchising, and also I would say the demand for franchising, is very, very big. Today we have every single household in the country who's an aspiration of starting a business. Right. So, and being a shopkeeper nation, this is something which has remained a very, very big focus for us. Because when we started in 1999, we realized there was a big gap. There were a lot of brokers in the market who were advising investors on real estate, stock investment, but there was nobody who could advise a common man on starting a business. So this was the premise for us. In fact, now the question also comes in: is starting a business easy? I would say it is not easy as it seems. But even the more difficult part is building a successful business, which is in fact a bigger challenge. And successful investing is all about having a safety net, or I would say having a safety cap. So when I say a safety cap, this cap comes with three things, which is clarity. A second is alignment of your goals. And third is the preparation you need to invest in a business. A sustainable business is one that reflects on your values, your own personal strength, your experience, and it contributes meaningfully, to your life and the community at large. We also understand for the first time business buyer, the journey is filled with many questions, a lot of uncertainties, and the need for informed decision making becomes even more critical, right? So another reason which I like to start before I take you on the assessment tool, why a lot of businesses also fail or fail to succeed is there is first and foremost, I would say there is lack of risk management, right? There's second is there's no alignment between your personal and business goals, which is, I would say, the starting point for any investor before they even venture out and say, I want this category or this brand. And third is the wrong location, industry, or a fitment of the brand in your market, or the industry fitment in your micro market. So what we have done is we have created a 5-point assessment tool. Bharat, can we go on the next slide, please? So we have created a 5-point assessment tool which talks about your own self-assessment. And that for me is the foundation of success. Second is the industry assessment, that the industry that you want to get in. Third is the market assessment. This is not the overall market, but it also includes micro market assessment of the location, the spot where you should open the business. Then comes the peer assessment, that is a competition assessment that you should undertake before just zeroing down on one brand. And finally comes the assessment on the company, the brand that you have selected. So we can go on the next slide. So what we did around these 5 assessment tools, we created a 25 point I would say a checklist. So this is comparatively easy when you look at the sheet, but this sheet alone takes a lot of time for us to assess, and equally because it is a collaboration, right? So it takes a lot of time for us to assess these. So very quickly, I'll explain all these 25 points. But if you see these 25 points and you have a tick mark on these 25 points, if your overall score is 20 plus, then the selection of the opportunity is excellent. In our score, anything between 15 to 20 is good, but if you have a score which is less than 15 score point on these 25 points, then we do not advise you to, but we go back and see where we have scored less, and maybe we go back on the canvas and rework. Now, starting with self-assessment, I would say your business is only as strong as your own clarity, like I said. So self-assessment is the most valuable tool for any aspiring entrepreneur. And I would say on this stage, you have to be extremely honest with yourself. You have to define your strength, your weakness. And self-assessment, like I said, is clarity of your goals. And the key aspects to be considered here are your own, I would say, business knowledge, your experience, perhaps in that industry. A lot of businesses don't require that experience, but you have some experience that adds as a value to that particular opportunity that you have selected. Second is your investment appetite and the financial ability, which means what kind of equity you're bringing in the business, what kind of softer loans you're taking. And some businesses have a criteria, which means the companies even define what is the minimum equity that you should bring in the business. And finally comes the time commitment that you have on the business, because franchising is run largely on efficiency at the unit level, which means the role of a unit franchisee or a partner is very, very important, because your own time involvement in fact improves about 18% efficiency in running and operating these businesses. So when I talk about your own entrepreneurial mindset, it is extremely important that you understand and align your financial goals and your life goals. And the rule that we follow here, I would say there are 3 things that we take into consideration. I call that as the TRR rule, which is the time for you to achieve those financial goals. It can be a short term, it can be a mid term, it can be a long term goal. So that is the first thing that you should keep in mind. What is your financial goal, and what is the timeline that you want to achieve that financial goal? Based on that, you will select the opportunities which are given to you. And second is, what is the risk appetite that you hold and the return that you expect on the investment? Now, it is very important to understand that the risk and the reward is very proportionate to each other. Higher the risk, higher the rewards. If you have an appetite of low risk, then your rewards are also lower. So now, if you look at any asset classes, these asset classes of investments are categorically into 3 fundamental goals, which is safety is your first fundamental goal. So when you invest in any asset class, you want to have first and foremost maybe safety in your mind. Second is the income, and third is the growth. These are the only 3 fundamental goals of any investment. And same rule applies even in businesses and franchising, whether that's a franchisee operated business or a franchisee owned company operated business, right? And based on these 3 fundamental goals, our teams then evaluates the opportunities and shares with you. And then comes, like I said, your capital planning, how much equity you're bringing in the business, how much funds you have readily available to put in the business. The rule that we should ideally follow is a 50-50 rule. That means that if you have an investment bracket, whatever that investment bracket is, at least 50% of that investment should be from your own savings, your own equity, and 50% can be a softer loan. But if the investment is small and these businesses are micro businesses, say businesses less than 35, 40 lakhs of investment, then the ideal share of your own equity should be higher. So at least 70% of your own investment equity you should bring in, and 30% can be a softer loan. And second comes the assessment of the industry. So I would say not every performing industry is right for you. What I said when we started, all industries are great, and we've seen successful businesses operating in all industries. But is that right for you or not is something that needs to be evaluated. Not every industry is the right fitment for you. So we conduct a deep research before we select even a sector, right? So brand even comes, I would say, at a third stage. So we understand, evaluate the industry trends, the life cycle, understand where the industry current trends are. Is it emerging? Is it at a growth stage? Is it at a mature stage? And this is not overall I would say, analysis of the India market. But all these three stages of any business, we do even a micro market analysis of the market that you are in. We also understand the long term relevance and the future fitment of that industry. Is it going to be relevant in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? And then comes I would say, the risk and the seasonal volatility also of the business. So we need to consider external risk like regulatory, internal cyclical. I would say dimensions like festivities. If I talk about the tourist or hospitality business, they are tourist peaks. If I talk about even retail fashion, they are festival peaks. For example, we're launching one of the top, I would say, jewelry brands of India, which has just announced their franchising, and they've locked a location, and they're planning to launch the first outlet just before Diwali in a property they have launched. So these are all very micro and very deep, working that our team does when they work with you. And then comes the market assessment. Now, here, what is most important is the go to market with intelligence. So, which means what is the overall market size that we are addressing? Is that enough opportunity for us to address? And second is also we need to understand the regulatory landscape, right? So every state now, regulations in India are both a state subject and a center subject, but we need to understand what regulations on that industry are there in your state. And these are basic licenses, which can be a liquor license policy or a pharmacy, which is a drug license policy, or maybe a food license policy, or a pharmacy, when you open 24 hours versus maybe a 12 hours. The rules and regulations, the licenses which are required are very unique to the state. So our teams also work with you in consultation with the brand to help you understand these regulatory landscapes. And then comes the location, which is extremely critical when you decide on a business. So when I say real estate and location strategy, because every opportunity would not location are only meant to do well in the malls. So depending on the location, depending on how the brands have performed in different markets, in different locations versus a high street or a mall, we advise you on the location strategy. But the thumb rule that we follow is whatever opportunity that you have selected, whatever segment that you have selected, we go and search which are my top competition in that market, right? So if I selected these are four top competition in the market, I need to go deep to understand which are the top performing locations of these five top competition, and we open our a brand next to them. So your probability of success when you open next to your competition is comparatively higher. Let me give an example. About 2 months back, we launched one of the international brands, which is called Easy Gym. Now, this Easy Gym is part of a listed company in New York, which is Easy Group, which also runs EasyJet Airlines. They are like Indigo in India. So that is listed company, and we have taken the master franchise rights. And 2 months back, in the month of May, we launched our very first location of Easy Gym. And the first location that came up in India is in Delhi, and this location is just opposite the first center of Anytime Fitness, the very first center which was launched in India. But the proposition that we offered was obviously much higher, and we are in an area which has a lot of competition. All top gyms operate in that location, but the proposition that we offer was differentiated because these consumers who are already using the current gyms, the local ones, or even I would say the international ones, they need to have a reason why they would shift. Not that they're not getting these services, but they need to have a reason why these investors would shift to you. So we came out with a world-class gym, and this is, I would say, because I've seen that gym, we have worked almost 8 months to put that location in place. This is one of the most beautiful gyms with the biggest cardio, biggest strength area that we've come out, and 15,000 area. In fact, almost, I would say, 50% of the members who are going to the other gyms in that neighborhood, they all converted to Easy Gym. So we need to find the real estate, the right location. We need to have a strategy. And is my product offering any differentiation in the market, because consumers are already consuming those services or products in the market? So that's something which is extremely important to understand. And then comes the competition assessment. Now, this competition assessment means what advantage do I have over the competition? Now, this can be your go-to-market strategy, how your brand is supporting you. It can be also maybe our pricing strategy. It can be our positioning strategy, whether I'm a premium product, I'm a value product. So we go and find the gap in the market. And if there's a gap in the market that I think my product, my service can fulfill, we go and open. So that is one. And then comes finally the assessment of the company, the brand, because I believe that not all franchisors are same. So you need to do your own research to get to know everything that you know about the franchisor, which includes things how the business has been operations, how many franchisees they run. And typically, if I talk about new businesses today, a lot of companies are coming in franchising. And what we are realizing today, there's a big corporatization of franchising. So when I say big corporatization of franchising, today all top corporates in the country, from Reliance at the top to bottom, everybody is looking at franchising. So when corporates come into franchising, there's a big trust that also starts setting in, in the investors mindset. So even when these companies have not franchised in the past, but these companies are trusted, they have a legacy of running and operating different businesses across their different brands. But you need to understand how these businesses have performed in the past. If these companies have operated any franchise business and they have been in operation for more than 5 years, we need to understand on an average how these franchisees stay in the system, how big is the churn rate, because sometimes franchisees don't stick for long. But if you see any of these mature corporates, their franchise partners stay 30, 40, 50 years also, right? So what we need to look at is the following. We need to look at the credibility of the company, legacy, the commitment of the brand towards their partners. We need to understand how standardized are their systems and processes, because what is committed to you is that you have to follow every single process which is defined by the company in their agreement. So, and as companies scale, they become more and more process oriented. Third is you need to understand the overall operating cost. Most of the times when I listen to investors, I meet with them, they only negotiate on the royalties, margins, franchise fees. But I have not seen many investors actually going very deep to understand the operating business model, right? Because your operating costs are very, very important, because your operating cost is what defines your return on the investment year on year. And second is the working capital that you need to have. So if you have a budget of, say, maybe a crore of rupees or a 50 lakh rupees budget, I would recommend that 30% of that investment bracket or the investment budget that you have, keep that aside for a working capital for the initial 4 to 6 months time. Fourth is your margins on the business. Every industry has different margins, and more importantly, not on the industry, but even the subcategories under the industries have different margin structure. So but even in the business of, I would say, fashion, I would say ethnic would have a different margin structure. Fast fashion would have a different margin structure. A slow fashion brand would have a different margin structure. So when you do this comparison, always do an apple to apple comparison on these margins. And then comes your legal agreement, because in India, we don't have, in fact, laws on, so to say, franchising. We work on the British contract and the contract law. So everything that becomes a part of the contract becomes binding between the two parties. So at Franchise India, we have a separate company, which is Fran Legal, that also works with our investors to help you negotiate these agreements and finally help you sign these agreements with the company. And so what we do is we follow a three-stage advisory process. On the next slide, Bharat. So this is the three stages include the first and foremost, I would say, is the exploration stage. This is the information stage where you understand your fitment and we learn about opportunities which are aligned with your strength, your goals, the financial fitment we talked about, your life goals we talked about. And there are four primary fits that we evaluate. So there's a 1 hour session that my teams, our advisors do with you to understand first and foremost your own assessment, which is self-assessment. We understand the four fitments. The four fitments are your, we call that SOMF fit. So S stands for strategic fit, which means what you bring on the table beyond investment, which is your experience, your professional experience, your education, your profile, and maybe a strategic property that you own and what kind of businesses can be run on that property. So that becomes a part of our strategic fitment. And second comes the operational fitment, which means the number of hours that you have to devote to the business. So that forms our second level of your fitment. And third comes the market fitment, which means based on the location that you are, the market where you want to open, how that brand would align to the market, where we also do the micro market assessment, competition assessment on the opportunities which are already present in the market. And equally, we understand the brands which are open to roll out in that particular location. And finally comes your financial fitment, which is your investment as well as your working capital. So financial fitment is a mix of your initial investment and your working capital, which is deployed. So based on these four fitments, our team then go to stage two, where we pull opportunities, we curate opportunities, and we share these opportunities with you. And we dive deeper into these selected opportunities where discovery days with the company owners, promoters, leadership, management is aligned by our teams. It also includes your visits to their centers, their outlets, maybe a one full day tour where a meeting is done with the brand, a tour which is done at the centers or the outlets of the company, where our teams are involved. And very deep, I would say, brand sessions, in depth insights is what is shared in these sessions. And stage three is personalization, because in stage two, you're exploring different opportunities, you're evaluating different opportunities. And then comes the final stage, which is personalization. This is where the structuring of the deal happens. We do planning with you. If you're taking an area franchisee, we also work with you to plan your territory, the rollout in that territory, and finally help you sign the agreement with the company. Right? So these are four stages, of our methodology, which we have been following for the last 28 years. Now, it is very important to note, friends, we specialize in helping investors make an informed and confident decision in their buying journey. And our process is designed to support you end to end, right? If you're just looking window shopping, there are a lot of opportunities that you will find on the webinars, on the website. There are more than 2,000 companies that we have on our Facebook page where you can go through their business models. But if you look at guided solutions from us, it demands a lot of commitment from you, and it demands a commitment for us. We work on the timelines. We assign a senior advisor who works with you on every step that we have talked about, from discovering of the opportunities to evaluation to negotiation and final signing up. And to maintain the quality, integrity, effectiveness of our work, we exclusively engage only with our registered investors. And this registration reflects your seriousness, your intent, allows us to dedicate our time, our expertise, and resources to guide you through a very deep, high involvement, and often I would say complex process, which I would say can take anything from 30 days to 6 months time, depending on the industry, the category you want to take, and the investment you want to do in the business. So, if you're interested, friends, please reach out to us. Like Bharat said, we have teams across 97 cities. We'll be happy to come on one-to-one meeting. Our registration involves right from the base level a 30,000 registration, which goes up to even 5 lakhs for a lot of HNIs, ultra HNIs. Because including me, our chairman, Mr. Maria, all the high investment opportunities, including master franchisees or the larger corporate or high investment brands, which is 50 to 100 crores, including K-12 schools, hospitals, jewelry brands, it requires a very deep down involvement. So we all get involved in that. Now I'll let Vishwas run you through some of the brands that we have to present to you today. I'll request Bharat if we can also share our hotline number, our email ID, and also the website of Franchise India for all our investors. And friends, post this webinar, our teams in different cities, based on your availability, will reach out to you. Really request to fix maybe a meeting. And we have these shows which are happening, which Bharat just shared with you. If you want to attend any of these shows, because we have the decision makers from the brands coming to the show, I will also have my Franchise India teams. Almost 30 of my direct teams are also present in these events who can guide you, work with you. So you can also book advisory session with them. Over to you, Vishwas.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this detailed presentation on investor acquisition. Yes, investor acquisition is the key where we serve our investor to choose the right brands. So today I got the opportunity to share one of the rather two of the iconic brands from the house of Aditya Birla Fashion Retail Group. So the first brand which I'm covering is today is Tasva. Tasva is basically an ethnic wear brand from the Aditya Birla Group. So before moving ahead, let me discuss something about Aditya Birla, the expansion, the kind of expanded group is it. We are all aware about the brands and must be using in and present and past also these brands. So Aditya Birla is basically divided as of now into three verticals. One is Madura Fashion, which we all have experienced, like Ellen Solly, Van Heusen, Louis Philippe, Simon Carter, Peter England, Planet Fashion, Above, Forever 21 Collective, and so other brands, Viva, Aurelia, Wells, W. And then we have a similar segment in Madura, which is the innerwear segments. And then Pantaloons, it's a fast fashion retail chain with a style-up brand. And the third vertical, which of late comes to highlight is the ethnic business. So they have three verticals into this. One is the ethnic designer labels, and then the brand called Tasva, and the brand called Jaipur. So I'll discuss Tasva and Jaipur today, if the time permits. So before moving ahead to the brand, it's a little context of the kind of men's ethnic wedding wears industries are growing. As you see, the 90% sales comes from physical stores. The FY23 exit was 2.223 lakhs in crores, and 27 exit is supposed to be 4.31. So the kind of industry, it's booming, it's growing. People are shifting their purchasing from a traditional market to a branded market to an organized sector with a reputed brands, and it's a complete family purchasing. A groom moves into the store, never goes alone. He moves along with family, friends. So it's a multiple purchase option always. So how Tasva grown? So in Q4 FY22, they have 6 stores where Manyavar is the leading player, 571 stores. And in the 2 years, they have gained the speed and becomes to 86 numbers. And 26 exit, they are planning to reach somewhere around 200 numbers of the stores. So this is basically the plan. Now let me comes about the brand. So brand is basically, as I told you, that this is a premier iconic brand from the house of Aditya Birla. So they have a joint venture from the famous designer called Tarun Talyani, who is from the house of Bollywood, from the Kapoor's family and Mr. Jauhar's relatives, and he is based out of Delhi and leading this Tasva very aggressively. But so Aditya Birla has joined hands with them, and they launched this brands called Tasva. Tasva was launched to solve the gap in Indian wedding wear for the modern man. As I shared you that earlier, this industry was purely unorganized and unconventional. The brand was launched in 2021, 9 December, and Banaras has been chosen as the to launch the brand, the very iconic destination to launch the iconic brands like Tasva. So you can see the creatives of the launch. They have given a very unique idea to launch this brand on the banks of the river Ganges and the Banaras. Coming ahead to the product offerings, so they have three basically categories. One is the casual, which includes single kurta set, kurta bandi set, and bandi. Formal, we call this ethnic formal, which includes sherwani, band gala, achkana, Indo-Western, and sherwani itself. It's a big category where multiple categories within sherwanis exists. Accessories and footwear, stoles, shawls, brochures, men's accessories, pagadi, juti. I'm so sorry. So apparel starting from 1599 and goes up to 1 lakhs and even higher. The sherwanis are costing around 2 lakhs or 2.5 lakhs even. Coming to the brand leadership, so brand, they have launched, they have done celebrity endorsements also. So Ranveer Kapoor is Ananya Pandey is promoting their brands called Tasva Ek Naya Nazariya. It was in launch immediately after the brand launch in October. So there are some ad films. So the time is not permitting. Otherwise, I'll show you some ad films also. The brand is present in all the marketing platforms, which include cinemas, outdoors, digital, televisions, influencer marketing, everywhere. I'll show you some glimpses of the outdoors. So this is some digital presence. Ek Naya Nazariya was floated throughout the digital media, and the brand has become viral with this presentations with this brand campaign. These are some OH. You'll see all the premium locations they have promoted this brand. So in Mumbai Airport and Delhi Airport, Hyderabad Airport, Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad. Yeah. Coming to the online presence, so they have their own D2C website, tasva.com, where customer can reach out to the products and explore the products and purchase also, wherein they are having a good exposure to Myntra. A lot of range is available in Myntra itself, and they are delivering good numbers through Myntra. Now coming to the main franchising part, retail expansion, network and expansion part. So existing, Tasva is having 65 stores operational as of now. As I've told you, to plan to exit 25 with 100 and 26 with 200 stores. Focus on expansion to build a retail network practice through the sort out aftermarket across metro cities and state capitals. So priorities are, as of now, metro cities and state capitals. So tier 3 and tier 4 towns are remaining untouched as of this 2 or 3 years from down the line. These are some experience stores. Southex, New Delhi, they were large size stores. Then it is Bengaluru, Commercial Street. So all the premium locations they have stores. Jubilee Hill, Hyderabad, Jayanagar, Bengaluru, Santa Cruz, Mumbai, Express Avenue, Chennai, Sarat City, Hyderabad, Andh, Pune, Pondi Bazar, Chennai, Sector 17, Chandigarh, Raipur. This is Mumbai. Now have a glance inside the stores. What kind of larger than life the stores are, and because this is a feeling which they wanted to give to a person who is purchasing it for his function, family function, his marriage also. So these are the presentation, the palace-like look of the stores. For a really authenticate luxury experience, and the brand positioned as a top brand of ethnics wear. So these are some stores. So now coming to the main part, which we all are here to discuss, what is the business model? How can we as an investor can be a part of this brand as an iconic brand? So see, this brand is basically it's the investment range from 1.2 CR to 2 CR. So the capacity, the investment ranges from 1.2 CR to 2 CRs. And investors who are looking for a longer term perspective, they can opt for this brand because the brand Aditya Birla is backed up by Aditya Birla. So as mentioned, ma'am told about three things: safety, income, and growth. So all three are guaranteed here. The brand is here to stay. It's from so long, and it's here to stay for so long. So safety is there, income. So they are ensuring a good ROIs. So you will getting your paybacks in less than 4 years, and it's a long-term investment project. So you can have a initial agreement for 9 years and then extendable to further 9 years. So it is 15 to 18 years of agreement you can do with this brand. Starting business model, it is a FOFO model, franchisee on franchisee operated. But yes, the end-to-end operations are not to be done by the franchisee owners because this is an iconic brand. The company have the mandates of the staff, of the uniform, of the store interiors, store exterior, branding, influencer marketing, everything. So brand takes care of all the operations, but under the influence of the franchisee. So franchisee is basically a controller on the operations, but not the actual executor of the operation. Right. So CapEx, so as any franchisee, there are three investment: CapEx and OpEx and inventory. So let me discuss about the CapEx first. So CapEx, they are having on an average 3,200 to 3,500 per square feet CapEx. CapEx includes the store design, the store fixture, fit out, hardware, software, laptop, everything which is required to run the store initially. So the capex is around 3,200 to 3,500, and it is as per the national mandate. So all the stores has to be lookalike. So this is as per the national mandate. Lease deposit is on actual. So as I told you that the brand already have identified locations and they offer these location to franchising. So lease deposit is already given to by the brand to the mall owners or the high street owners. But yes, in case you have your own property at some premium location, brand can discuss that also. So as of now, lease deposit on actuals. Security deposit is security deposit is against inventory. So in any 2,000 square feet showroom, you must say that the brand has to manage at least 1.5 CR of inventory investment, because every Sherwani and these are very high ASP products. So brand don't ask full amount from the investors. So investor has to pay a 1,500 rupees per square feet inventory, and brand gives 8% interest also on that inventory part. So, and this is purely refundable. So out of these three components, two are refundable. Lease deposit is refundable, and security deposit is refundable. Capex is 3,200 to 3,500 rupees per square feet, and as per the written down depreciation value method. Company offers a flat commission of 35% on sales. And location, as I mentioned, identified by the brand and open for new location also. OpEx, rent and electricity and maintenance and manpower all on actual basis. So brand will share the ROIs of the different units as you choose. So as of now, we are having ready ROIs for Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chandigarh, Ahmedabad, and some Surat is coming up. So in case you are interested for these cities, we are readily open for these cities. But other cities are also available. We can discuss case to case for them also. So this is the FOFO model for TASVA. As I clearly mentioned FOFO, but company managed. So not the day-to-day operations has to be done. Operations will be taken care by the company. But yes, the commercial of that operation has to be bear from this 35% commission, which the brand is given to you. So, Bharat, if time allows, shall I continue? These are the city of operation. Just also wanted to mention these cities. So, as I mentioned, that they are initially driving in top 20 cities, which includes Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, Thane, Ahmedabad, Baroda. And when I say Delhi, it's Delhi NCR. So, all the three locations adjoining is covered. Chandigarh, Chennai, Indore, Jaipur, Kanpur, Lucknow, Ludhiana, Nagpur, Patna, Pune, Surat, and Vizag. So these are the locations. Uh, this is my card. My number is there. I will share in chat box also. So in case anybody wanted to have a detailed discussion on the brands, I'm there to serve.
Thank you.
Bharat, in case you allow me, I can share another brand also. And
No, we can do this next time.
Okay.
Next week we will do that. But I mean, this is really an amazing opportunity. I mean, you have a stylish brand with the real muscle behind it. I mean, Taswai is a brainchild of a designer, Tarun Tahliani. Everyone knows him, very famous. In collaboration with Aditya Birla Fashion and the Retail Private Limited, one of the biggest fashion player in India right now, which blends high-end traditional aesthetics with contemporary comfort and fit. That is what the best part is. The two giants. I mean, the Tarun Tahliani's craftsmanship and Aditya Birla, the fashion and the retail group. I mean, both combines are. It is a deadly combination, by the way. So, so if you want to go with it, I think my request is to please get in touch with Vishwas. He already have shared his number in the chat box. You can call that number and can have a detailed deep dive information about the brand. Right. So that's it for the day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Next week, again, we will join again at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? And we will have more learnings about how to choose a brand, how to start your business, how to minimize your risk, which is the important part of any sort of business, and what are things you need to keep in your mind before you choose a right franchise business, because that is what is the most important thing, because we really don't want your money to be wasted, right? Buying anything. We as a company, professional company, we help you choose the right brand. We help you take the right decision, and we help you to minimize the overall risk. So that is what we do. And I would request you to please anything, if you have anything in your mind to buy any of the brand, anything that you want to start with franchise, get in touch with our number 9717683838. You can call us on those numbers, and then we can have a detailed discussion about it. That's it, everyone. Thanks so much.